Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. Chiming in with a little headline news. We got a limited memory, so I'm going to jump right into it. All right. Pretty much, I think the first thing I'm going to talk about for as headline news goes, and that would be uh, the Donald Trump wiretapping. Donald Trump wiretapping. Ah, boy. Poor Donald. Oh my God. What's he going to do? Um, all right, let's talk about well, I think we all know what it's about. Donald Trump alleges that former President Barack Obama wiretapped Trump Tower, most notably for the reasons of trying to establish a Russian connection. Um, I think Donald Trump ended up putting himself into a corner, and he didn't quite understand, the way. Well, it's not just simply the way politics work, but the way classified data works. Yes, he is the president, and he does have the power to, you know, make something declassified, at his behest. Unfortunately, I personally believe that it was probably relayed, or he came to understand that he can't really talk about exactly how, if indeed his wires were tapped. It's a little. I'm not laughing because it's an impossibility. Of course, it's a possibility. I'm laughing for a couple different reasons. Just to to say Donald Trump, he's such a ridiculous, he's such a bad joke that you just can't help but laugh. Um, and of course, what Donald Trump is trying to do now is backtrack a great deal and say that he wasn't speaking in the Cold War era of wiretapping and things like that, or the World War II era of wiretapping. He's probably talking about other surveillance methods. But here's the thing, okay? See this thing? Okay. These little phones, they have the ability to do quite a bit. When I guess what I'm trying to say is every single time you click accept, that one word, accept, I don't think you understand exactly what it is that you are accepting. I have read quite a number of these privacy disclaimers and whatnot, and once you read enough of them in full, you begin to understand that they all read the same, and the gist of every last single one is you don't have any privacy. If you want to use our software, it's free, but only in a loose sense of being free. Um, it's more of an exchange. Give us unfettered access to your device, unfettered access to your private life. We want to know where you go, when you go, how long did you stay there, where do you go online. We want to know your photos. We want to know your contacts. We want to know your browser history. We want to know everything. And every time you click accept on this, it takes it out of the realm of wiretapping. And I don't think Donald Trump understands that. Maybe even his circle might not necessarily understand that. And when you are on television, like what was it? Janine Shapiro or whatever, Napoleon, Judge Napo, I don't know. Trump likes a lot of TV personalities, and he likes a lot of Fox News. Fox News likes to play fast and loose with the truth. Um, it's true, all news sources, have their own particular bias and their own spin, be it the left or the right. But Fox News, they just really begin to just play very, very fast and loose with reality. Um, Put it like this. God, what's his name? Nightly News. Brian Williams. There you go. Christ, yeah. Apparently he misspoke when he said that his helicopter in the squad of helicopters came under fire. Um, he was in the squad. It just simply wasn't the exact helicopter. Apparently that was enough. That little wiggle of the truth was enough to get a well-seasoned, highly established, well-respected newsman fired. So anyway, but yeah, every time you click accept, applications, phones, the internet, there is, cookies, web beacons. It's all about tracing things back to you. There's a lot more I could say on that, but I'm not. Also, to tag on to this issue with Trump and his wiretapping, believe it or not, there's an Edward Snowden angle to this thing. Now, everybody knows Edward Snowden blew the whistle on the NSA and the mass surveillance and data collection that they were doing. Now, it kind of got caught up that, it was the government's position, we're just looking for terrorists. Okay? And I think it kind of got lost on everybody. Edward Snowden, he blew the whistle way too soon, and he blew the whistle in the wrong way. I don't think he understood, or maybe he does understand. People are addicted to those phones. Do you understand? When you blew the whistle, well, thanks a lot, Ed, but we already knew this. What exactly were you blowing the whistle on? I think everybody knew on some level that they're being watched doing this right now. The phone that I'm recording this on, as primitive as it is, rest assured there's facial recognition software at work running, analyzing my face, analyzing my voice, wanting to know exactly who I am, and transmitting that data to unknown sources. So, like I said, Ed Snowden kind of blew a very, very moot whistle. People were far too addicted to these things to really care anymore. Which kind of takes me to my next angle. Was the whole thing staged? And especially when you start to think about where Edward Snowden ended up in Russia. Of all places to take asylum, Russia. After having blown a whistle over something that everybody knew on some level, whether they wanted to admit it or not, was already going on, Probably the bigger scandal wasn't so much the mass data collection. I think the bigger scandal has to do with what is being done with the data. It's a long story behind it, but I was speaking with a person that was assessing my psychological. They were trying to assess if I was crazy, basically. And one of the questions that they ask you is, do you think people are trying to control your mind? Believe it or not, the correct answer to that is yes. People are trying to control my mind. They're trying to control your mind too. And it's not some far-fetched conspiracy theory. Facebook has already been caught with their pants down, and they admitted it, that the news feed, how they filter news, the stories that you get all throughout the day, they're experimenting with your mind. Why do you think you got the cute puppy video? Then why do you think you got the child sex abuse video? See what I'm saying? They're experimenting in a very crude fashion, but it's still an experiment. How to make you angry, how to make you happy, how to make you feel indignant, how to make you feel sympathetic. You know, it's why you even got the additional feedback emoticons. You know, that's a tool that Facebook is using to learn, did their experiment work? You know, they understand that by giving you the story, it should make you feel this particular way. And every time you click on the angry face, the happy face, the shocked face, you know, that lets them know exactly, you know, did their experiment work? You know, are they succeeding in controlling your mind? I think, what was it, last year, Seth MacFarlane, he hosted, I forget the exact name of it, but it was regarded as the Oscars for technology. And one such scientist received an award for being able to. It was listed. Its cause, its function was listed as being able to help people with epilepsy. But it was, well, basically controlling the electrical impulses in your brain with a burst of light. Now, it didn't necessarily have to be a big, bright, flashing strobe light. The screen that I'm looking at right now, it could be transmitting bursts of lights just simply not within my visual acuity range. Is that all that it takes to trigger certain things in your brain? People don't like to think about exactly how much of their personality is actually nothing more than hormonal secretions and chemical secretions within the brain. You know, people like to think that they are more ethereal, more metaphysical than what they actually are, i.e., the soul. You know, but a great deal of who they are is actually, you know, just brain secretions. But yeah, you know, can they trigger these secretions, you know, with this method of neural light impulse control? So, yes, people are trying to control your brain. It's basically the next evolution in public opinion manipulation. We've always had public opinion manipulation, but this is just simply the next evolution in it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Trump's not that crazy. Put it like this. Think back 20, 30 years. Okay? 20, 30 years. Think about the homeless person, especially the vets, you know, that stood on the corner getting shit-faced drunk and then start screaming about all kinds of, oh, they're watching you. They watch you through your TV. They're controlling you through the radio, stuff like this. You know, when you think about the drunken or psychotic ramblings of the drunk, 20 or 30 years ago. And then when you start to think about what's going on today, well, son of a gun, looks like they weren't quite that crazy as you may have thought. So Trump, he's only correct in the sense that yes, he probably is, wiretapped in quotation marks, as he likes to say. Well, yes, you are, but the surveillance that's being exerted on you is the same surveillance that's being exerted on everybody. Okay? Everybody's being surveilled in that fashion, and every single time you click on I accept, then it makes it legal. Okay? You are surrendering your rights to be surveilled, which means that it's not illegal. So, all that wonderful tweeting, Twitter. I don't even have a Twitter account, and I can guarantee you right now that you cannot access Twitter without cookies enabled on your phone, without web beacons enabled on your phone. I don't even have an account, and I can already tell you that. I've never even read Twitter's privacy policy, and I already know what it says. Okay? The GoPro app that I just had to put onto this new phone that I got. They've altered it. GoPro's app used to be extremely easy to use, stripped down. You cut on the Wi-Fi of the camera, you activate the app, they look each other out, they connect, and that's it. Not anymore. Now all of a sudden you got to create accounts. You need an email account, and for that you got to have cookies enabled, and you got to create passwords, and just all this stuff. All of a sudden, it just got very, very complicated. This was not done on accident. It was done very deliberate. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes data collection. GoPro then gets funding from unknown sources. I forget the guy's name. He used to be. I don't see him on CNN anymore. It was Morgan something or another. I forget if Morgan was the first or the last name. But he did an expose on where all this aggregated data, all this data mining, where does it go? And he got stonewalled when he traced it back to someplace, out in the Midwest. And basically the gist that you got from that expose piece was you would do better by finding out the national budget, what we spend on our national budget than we do with all this aggregated data and who's collecting it, where it goes. Every single time in these privacy policies, when it says we don't sell your data except to our trusted partners, you might want to start thinking about exactly who those trusted partners are, how they're collecting your data, and how they're using it. All right, so like I say, Trump, he painted himself into a corner. I don't think he understood that you can't really go public with letting everybody know exactly how you are wiretapped, because number one, it's just the same so-called wiretapping that happens to us all every time we use these devices. So it's not quite the diabolical thing that he made it out to be. All right, so that's what's going on. I got long here, so I'm gonna see if I can upload this, and I'll talk to you guys later. Total Control 871 Wiretap.